Okay, so let's talk about these emails, how to preview them, how to review them. And one thing that I know if you don't pay close attention to, this is gonna confuse you. But because we're using dynamic variables in the email, which means we can place your logo URL in one place and it populates in all the emails. When you preview the emails, like going into one, like this is going to the Valentine's Day, for example, and we hit preview, you're not going to see, you see this little broken image? It's because you can't preview it with that dynamic variable and this ugly color. And you can see like this is where the dynamic variable lives for the text. And this is your location name and that's your contact's first name. You're like, oh my God, it's broken. Why does it look like that? It's ugly. That is not exactly how it looks. It will look like whatever you have set. So I'm gonna show you an example. This particular email that you see like this, I sent it to myself a moment ago and this is how it looks. And so it's using the logo. Of course, this is just our logo, an example. It's got pulling in my contact name. This is the color I chose for the button. Also the text for the button and the URL would take us to the ConversionAssist website. This just happens to be the name of the account that I'm in when I'm doing these tests. So that's why it would normally say ConversionAssist or your company name. And then these Facebook and Instagram links will go to our pages. So all of this stuff is populated and even the subject lines, we've written all the subject lines for you. So in this case, I sent a test. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But you don't even have to write the subject lines for the emails. Of course, you can change them if you want, but you don't have to. So that's how that works. Now let me go back into ConversionAssist and show you how this would go in your particular case. So what we would recommend is if you want to go through and use these email templates, what you can do is just basically go to your email templates. So go to marketing, click on marketing here, you go to emails, templates, and then you'll see all of these folders that have the email. You can see they're all numbered. Now we numbered them in the order that they would get sent out throughout the year. So Valentine's Day would be first, St. Patty's next, first day of spring third, that kind of thing. So it's not important that they're in that order. We just did it for you visually so you know what order things would get sent in. And you can see there's a couple more on this page, Christmas and New Year. So if you happen to add other ones in there or you edit that, that's perfectly fine. Just know we number them that way so it would be very easy for you to tell what order these will be fired. And of course it makes sense, right? Memorial Day is gonna come before Labor Day, things like that. If you're not in the US, just a quick note, these are mostly US holidays, not all. And definitely, different seasons in the US. So if you're not based in the US, you don't have all that, you may want to not send some of these. I can show you exactly how that will work in the workflow section in another video, but that's basically something to keep in mind. So for Valentine's Day, let's just say we want to go through this. We want to spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Go through all the 36 emails that we have here. Make sure that we approve of the copy. Make sure we're happy with what they look like. This is what we'll do. We just click on the first one and we go into email number 1. I can click on that and I can see, again, you won't see that, custom value for the image. It looks like this right here. This is where the URL goes in another part of the system. Do not change this. Do not change this. Do not change the contact first name unless you don't want to use the contact's first name. I will show you where to do that in the next video. But for right now, just know that these will be updated and you will have control over where they go, what colors they are, and all that. But you just don't see them in this little preview. So here, if we wanted to change some of the wording, let's say I want to click on here and I want to change, we don't want to say we'd love to see them again. We'd like to see them again. We can change that text right here, whatever we want to do. And let's just say we're done with that. We hit save template like so. And then you can see right here, subject line information. If I click on the 3 dots and I go to settings, you can see that the from name is going to be your company name in ConversionAssist. So whatever you call your company in ConversionAssist, that's the from name. The from email is your corporate or company email in ConversionAssist. If you want to change those things, you go to settings, business profile, which is usually the default tab you land on when you hit settings, and the email that you use for your location that's there, and your from name is there. It's not your personal. So you've got your own personal account and the company's got a name and an email. We're using the company name and email. And then you can see right here, this is the subject line. BR Valentine, in this case, BR Valentine Dustin heart emoji. You can change it, you can do whatever you want. These little tags right here are some custom variables. You can add customers' names, you can add, if you want to add information about your business, you click on account. This would be your account's name, right? And ConversionAssist, your location, your website, whatever, you can do whatever you want. So, I mean, unless you have a real problem with it or you just like to fiddle with stuff, you could just run with it. I try to keep it very simple, very thinking about all the different kinds of people that are out there. I don't want to piss anybody off by saying something, right? So we just kept it super simple. a little bit kind of on the light side, you know, light kind of professional, but like light and fun, because that's how a lot of you guys are, or a lot of your companies are, and pretty simple. So once that's done, I'm not saying you have to do this for every email. If you make a change to something, you might want to, but you could basically just go here to say test email, because again, if I hit preview, you're not going to see your pretty colors and your logo. You're going to see that. But you can go back to here and just click on test email, put the email you want to send it from. Now, if you send it from and to the same email address, let's say you've got only one email address, and you make that the from and the send, when you get the test, a lot of times maybe if you're in Gmail, it'll say, warning, this looks like it could be spam. That's because you're basically getting an email from yourself to yourself, and sometimes they flag that as spam. Your customers are not going to see that. So in my case, I have two different emails. I could just say Dustin@ConversionAssist.me, and that's a misspelling or mistype. And I could say Dustin@ppcpros.co. Put my test subject line, whatever I want, test subject line, right? Like that, that's terrible, but you get the idea. I just hit send, and it's going to send me that email. And then I can look at it, make sure I like the way it looks and all that. What I would recommend now is going through all of the text in all of these emails first. Again, it might take you 30 minutes to go through and just, you know, read through this, eyeball it. I'm good with that. Next, go back to the previous one. Make sure you save any changes. Okay, let me go to email 2. Do the same thing. Once this loads, okay, I look at it. Thanks for being awesome, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I like that. Cool. Back. And again, remember, these emails are sent 1 year apart. So they're not super complicated. They're all unique. We don't send the same email 3 years in a row. They're slightly different. But again, like, people are not going to remember what you sent them a year ago, probably. All the subject lines are also different. They're unique. That way, when somebody gets the email a year later, it doesn't show up in the same email string in Gmail. So we try to think through this a little bit where people would see, like, this is a unique email this particular year. So it's pretty cool if you think about it that way. Now, let's just say we've gone through all these emails and we're like, man, the text is fine, or I've updated it and I've saved it. I'm good to go. Or maybe you say, hey, I don't want to use some of these. I want to delete them and add my own. That's perfectly fine. No big deal. Once we're done with that, now what we want to do is update all of those custom fields. So I'm going to bring us to that screen. I'm going to pause the video for a minute, bring you to that screen, show you where to do that, and some of the things you have to have prepared. It's not much. There's only 7 items that need to be there, and they're very simple. A logo image, your URL for your website, some of the color codes for like your brand colors. I'll show you how to find them if you're not sure how. It'll be super easy. I promise. It's going to be 1 minute, and I'll be right back.